Omar.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk a little bit of Champions League and specifically Barcelona, Bayern.
Do we have to start there?
Yeah, we have to.
Is it on the
I'm curious.
Okay.
Because I have a question for you. Like, they lost 2-0 against Bayern Munich in the Champions League group stage. Now they sit in second with 3 points. Bayern in first with the 6 points. What went wrong with Barca? What deficiencies do you see them? And do they still make it out of the group?
I think they're still going to make it out of the group. I have no idea why Xavi started Marcos Alonso on the left when, you have Jordi Alba, right? And you have that new kid on the block, Balde, who's just super talented, right? Super talented kid. To keep up with Leroy Sané and various other weapons. Yeah, various other weapons, right? I have no idea why he started them. And
now the first half they played well.
They played it very well.
Maybe defensively they were shaky still.
They had some good clearances. Like there was like Koundé, I think is the real deal.
Koundé's awesome.
Yeah, I like a backline of Koundé and Araujo. That kind of backline excites me. I like that because
Christensen is a little slower.
Christensen's a little slower. Christensen will definitely have a role because then Koundé, even though it's not his strong suit, can open up to the as a right back, and so can Araujo.
Yep.
And then Christensen is there. Christensen's there for the more brute force, right? Yeah. But he's not. I don't think he's in full 90-minute form yet. For some reason, he looked gassed at the end of the when he got subbed out.
If I'm not mistaken, he hardly played for Chelsea even last season, right?
At the end of last season, because of an injury. Right. But at the end of the day, the defense is the deficiency, right? You see the goal from not Dale, Lucas Hernandez, Dale's brother, right?
Yep.
It was Marcos Alonso who lost the mark, right? Yeah. Who lost the mark, and then there was a gaping hole in the middle, for the Leroy Sané goal, which is a great goal, but that was definitely, there shouldn't have been that gap in the middle for him to literally just walk right in, have a cup of coffee, and then put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah.
And then of course this would be the game where Lewandowski doesn't have his shooting boots on.
Yeah.
This is the game where he wanted to score, right, to prove to the world that I made the move from this club to something better, and he missed just a couple of, oh my goodness, it was so I was already celebrating the goal on one of the ones, and then it just didn't.
They had a few chances from what I recall watching. It wasn't only Lewandowski, but I think a few other players.
Pedri had a couple, Neuer had a couple saves, and then Bayern just picked their moments.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
they put the ball in the back of the net. They deserve the win.
Right. Some might argue that they didn't deserve the win because Barca probably lost it.
If you put the ball in the back of the net, you deserve the win.
Yeah.
That's the point of the game.
Yeah.
Moral victory, they lost, right?
It's Bayern. You're not really surprised that they lost, right?
Right. I was coming in with optimistic because of the way they've been playing. Now they haven't had opposition like Bayern before. At least this season thus far. So they had Sevilla, who's struggling in the league, and not doing very well in their Champions League group either. I think they just got rocked by City.
Sevilla sitting in 16th in La Liga.
Yeah, which is not a place that they're accustomed in being, and in their group they are dead last as well. So it's very
more tests are coming for Barca for sure.
Yes, they got the Inter matches back to back, which will be a good test because if they win the Inter matches, then I think they're through.
Oh yeah,
I think so. Because then Inter still has to face Bayern.
Right?
Yeah, and Barca after facing Inter twice faces Victoria Pilsen once.
Mm-hmm.
So if Inter lose both games to Bayern and Barca doesn't lose to Inter in both games, that could be good. But it was a moral victory, but kind of so what?
I think I had mentioned this to a friend of ours, and I told them that Barca does seem like they're in good form, and I even see them competing in La Liga. I think you picked them to be finished first, right?
Correct.
At some point, their deficiencies against the will become more noticeable, whether it's because they have players of a certain age at certain positions, whether it's the formation. I can't tell you that yet. But historically, like you mentioned, Barca struggles in the air, mainly because of their size. They typically love those smaller players that are better on the ball than other strengths. They, after Puyol especially, I think they've became a weaker team against the counters. I mean, that's not a surprise, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could argue Mascherano, when Mascherano became a center back, they still want to treble there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. It's going to be interesting to see. There's a lot of they gave Xavi what he wanted, what the team needed, and like in defense, they got defenders in, they got depth in. So now let's see if he's the real deal. Now let's see if this Barca's gonna compete.